Welcome back everyone to Just for the Modderz. On today's episode we are going to be replacing or installing a new bezel insert on the Seiko SKX013. Now the principle applies for all the watches, so you can replace any bezel insert by following the steps that I'm going to show you. So if you've been following my channel, you'll know that this is part of my project where I'm basically going to refurb this SKX013. I've done a few videos already. Now this is just a bezel insert replacement. Now in the last episode there was a little problem with this bezel. The problem being there was a little notch that developed through, I believe it suffered a knock, and it left a little bit there on the bezel insert which we need to kind of sort out. But before that we need to remove all this old adhesive and this residue. There's a little notch there, you can see where the steel's been bent, so we need to resolve that issue so the bezel insert will sit, and we also need to give the whole area a good clean. So just get a hold of your trusty little pry tool or your bezel remover and just go about. First thing is take off that bezel like we have done previously. Just slot it in, little shimmy to the right and left, and it should pop off. Now once we've done that, we need to get at a pack of diamond files. Two things I can do here: I can use a Dremel or I can use a diamond edge file. I'd rather try the diamond file. I don't want to go to power tools just yet. So you can get these multi-tool diamond files, normally get a set of 5, 6 or whatever, and they're always good to have because there may come times while you are modding where you need to use these. They're great for taking off edgy metal corners on bracelets, on cases, and like you can see here. So we're just going to pick a file. I think that one should do the trick, and we're going to start taking off the little bit of excess metal that is preventing the bezel insert from sitting flush. Once you get your desired file, just start filing away, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to take it nice and easy, and every few minutes I'll just check if the bezel insert will sit, and just to gauge how far I need to go with that. I just thought I'd clamp it down in a yellow clamp as well, just to make it easier while I'm doing this filing down. So the actual bezel insert I got from eBay. Now individual parts, you don't need to go to China or Singapore. A lot of these parts are available from eBay, and I'm talking just to you guys in the UK. Just search eBay and you'll have them delivered to your door within a few days. Now this one, I think it come under £10, the bezel insert, and it's pretty much very close to the original article. And you've got a subset loom pip as well. It's the standard bezel that they come with, and I want to reset this watch back to stock as much as I can, just to give it that stock look. So this will do the job. There's no problems with this one. And now we're just going to check if that sits in there. Personally, I think it needs a bit more filing before that sits in there flush. As you can see, that little notch that was there is still preventing it from sitting fully flush. Now I think that's done. So got that down quite a bit. Let's just see how it looks with the bezel insert placed on top. See if we get a good enough fit. Now what we now want to do is take off all the old adhesive. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either use a heat gun, or you can use a this alcohol spray. Let's go with the spray. Let's not bring out the heavy duty tools just yet. So this is an alcohol based spray, isopropanol 70%, 80%. Just spray that on there and use the flat end of a flat screwdriver, and just you can see how easily it comes off. So we're just going to work through that, get off all that residue, use a bit of tissue paper, just make sure we can get it as clean as possible. Now as you can see, that's been done. We don't need to get it any cleaner than that, to be honest. Let's just check out the bezel insert and let's see how we want to apply this. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can use adhesive dots that we use on the back of dials, and which I'll show you right here. These are the adhesive dots that I use. or we can use something called Hypo Cement. Now, Hypo Cement is probably the most common thing used amongst Modderz, and I'll just get out for you right now. Now, this does work an absolute treat most of the time. It's just a bit messy, really. So let's go with the Hypo Cement because that's the normal thing to do. And what we need to do now is just apply small dots around the bezel and under the bezel insert. Now there is a little issue here. The actual bezel insert is slightly warped because maybe through transport. So what we're going to do is we need to find a die ready, which is going to have the exact fit, and it's going to be able to fit inside the bezel. When the insert has been attached, we will need to use that clamp, that crystal press, and we're going to use pressure to make that bezel insert sit firm within that gap, and it's also going to straighten it out as well. So let's go with the Hypo Cement, and what you want to use is this thing. You want to apply it really gently. You want to press the back end of the tube, just very gently, because once it starts coming out, it's not going to stop. So as you can see, I'm using tiny little dots, and I'm spreading them out in between. You can use less, more. It's something you just need to get a feel for how much you need to use. So we've done that now. Now you can apply it on the underside of the bezel insert as well, which I'm going to do here, and that's just going to make sure that the adhesion is stronger, obviously, and that it sticks properly. Now that tube will continue to leak if you don't plug it there and then, so just put that on some tissue paper, put that to one side. Now we just want to put the bezel insert on. With these, you want to put it down one side at a time, so just hold it from the edge, make sure obviously your watch is straight, and you want to apply it top down first. So you just put it down with the triangle 12 o'clock marker directly on top of the 12 o'clock marker on the dial, so it's perfectly aligned. Once that's in, just press the bottom end down, and there you go, easy as that. Now you can put that in the crystal press, and we're going to apply some very firm pressure. So now that pressure is made sure the number one, the bezel insert has sat down. Now number two, we're going to hold it there for a bit. We're going to apply some more pressure, and what we want to do is also straighten out that bezel insert. So right about now, I noticed a little problem. The problem is this SKX013, the bezel insert, the way it was designed, it is not designed to fit with a crystal that does not have a chamfered edge. So once that comes back into view, you'll see that the bezel insert isn't sitting flush. The original crystal does have a chamfer edge, and if you can remember that the crystal that we replaced it with did not have any chamfer edge, so now it's difficult to put the bezel insert down. So what needs to happen is I need to order a new crystal, and once I got that new crystal, I will then need to make sure it's chamfered edge, obviously. So I've gone and purchased a chamfer edge crystal from Crystal Times, and in the meanwhile, we're going to make sure the bezel insert is going to sit flush just on the bezel. So I've just removed the bezel and just use my crystal press to make sure that the bezel insert sits flat and sits flush. So the bezel insert is sitting perfectly straight within that bezel. That's fine. And now we've got the new crystal in the watch as well. Let's have a look how it looks now. So there you have it. This is the SKX013. Now the website I used was ccomods.com, and they're a UK website, or they've got a warehouse in EU, I believe. The parts came to me within a couple of days, and as you can see, this is AR coated chamfered edge crystal now, and now that enabled for the bezel insert to just sit, as you can see, the chamfer edge, so we're no longer having that issue. And bezel's on. Let's see if you can hear that. Okay, now the SKX013, this is the first time I'm doing a mod on this watch, so that's why you've seen a couple of errors. Now the errors is not an issue. I'm leaving the errors in these videos on purpose, and I want to make mistakes because the whole point of this channel was to show that look how easy it is for anybody to start modding, and it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. If you do make a mistake, they are very easily fixable, which is, I think, the biggest problem people have is they preempt errors, and you know it's going to be expensive. There isn't really, I mean, the crystal glass, I think that was expensive. That was around £30, I think. But you know, it's a SKX013. We're going to refurb it, and at the end of it, it should look pretty great. Now, I'm not too sure what to do with the dial and hands. I did want to replace them with genuine SKX007 dial and hands. Number one, I'm not a big fan of the hands that are on the SKX013, and number two, this dial is a bit faded. What I definitely will be doing is a movement change. So before the dial swap or the hands, we need to replace the movement, and I have the movement here, NH36 movement. For the next episode, please tune in. I'll be doing a movement swap, which is a bit more complicated, but we'll get on that, and it's going to also include a stem replacement as well and a crown upgrade to the S crown. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you've learned something valuable, and I'll see you on the next episode of Just for the Modders.